Gio.
BT and Sal.
Kevin and Tiki. Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan.
On The Fan.
On The Fan.
On The Fan.
It's WFAN Daily, hosted by Pete Hoffman.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening if you're watching this live, or Wednesday morning if you're listening to this the next day. Another episode of WFAN Daily, live as a good day for both the Mets and the Yankees. And as the late Ozzy Osbourne would say, no more tears. Get rid of the tears. It's the tears are gone because victory is ours for both the Mets and Yankees in good ways, by the way. It wasn't just a, start to finish victory. It was a tough, both needed big home runs to come back and win the game, and they both did. Quick note on Ozzy Osbourne. Huge fan of music, as you guys may know. As always, you can follow me on at Hoff WFAN, and you will see a laundry list of whether it's pictures or just references to music or whatever the case is. There's always something music that I'm doing, and I love music a lot. Mostly a lot of grunge, rock, metal, whatever it is. So when the news came on Tuesday that Ozzy Osbourne had passed away, first thing I think back to was I was almost like laughing 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel bad for Ozzy. They're pushing him out in this huge show, this final show. They're literally pushing him out on a chair, and he's singing to this huge crowd, and they have all these special guests. And then I think back now 2 weeks later, where he was and now where he is. He passes away. He dies, and I go, wow. That was incredible. When you look at 2 weeks ago where he was and just to get through the full show. And I remember, if you guys have ever been to an Ozzy Osbourne show for the past, Black Sabbath, whatever it is, the past 20 years, the joke was, he can't remember his own lyrics anymore. He's got the bouncy balls that go up and down, whatever the case is. And he follows the lyrics, all that stuff. But he was able to still crush every song, still hold the crowd, and that's what Ozzy was able to do for his entire career. Obviously he had his ups and downs with some other things going on behind the scenes, but overall, an amazing career for Ozzy Osbourne. Has the most respect by any metal artist or rock and roll artist that I can remember. His whole family does. And if you think back to like just the shows too that he used to put on, because it wasn't just about him. It wasn't just about his music. It was about everyone's music. They put together the Ozfest. I would go religiously every year, PNC Art Bank Center, and I would go and see tons of bands, whether they were from Linkin Park to Mudvayne to Slipknot, you name it. Like every band that came up over the past, 10 plus years were all circling through the Ozfest. So Ozzy Osbourne, 76. I mean, it was, an unbelievable run, especially when you think back to where he was 20 years ago, when they had that ridiculous, but funny reality TV show where that once was, and that's where a lot of people remember Ozzy Osbourne was from that. But I mean, which is crazy because he had a whole musical career, then he's got this this ridiculous TV show, and then gets back into his musical career again. And unfortunately, he's been ill, and it just everything succumbed. And it again, unfortunate news about Ozzy Osbourne, but dedicate this episode to him. And which is why we say no more tears. Get rid of the tears as both the Mets and the Yankees win. Let's go to the Yankees first because it was a good game to start off, as you have Jazz Chisholm, a 3-run bomb. Schlittler's pitching well again, which again, people have been dying to see Schlittler, and he did his job again. He performed well enough he should have secured himself a win, but the bullpen wouldn't help him out there, or Anthony Volpe wouldn't help him out there. I don't know, either way, whatever you want to say. But Schlittler, 5 innings, 90 pitches, 7 hits, okay, a lot of hits, 3 walks, only 2 earned runs. And you got to tip the cap again to Schlittler, because whether he is going to have a long run this year, it seems like, it's not that big of a situation. It's not a big situation for him. He's able to withstand, whatever pressure it is, being in a Yankee uniform, being in a big game. This is a rivalry game. They're in Toronto. They've lost a bunch of games recently, and things aren't going well. And Cam Schlittler was able to hold his own. Now, if only Anthony Volpe would be able to hold his own on the defensive side. Tim Hill comes in. He gives up 2 runs, but the runs are based off of Anthony Volpe's throwing error. As Miles Straw reaches base, and it's one of these things where Anthony Volpe, and we said it on BT and Sal on Tuesday. BT thinks he should take a seat for a game or two, clear his head. And we're going to touch on the Mets in a second with Francisco Alvarez, but I think it's time that they just say, you know what? We can win without Anthony Volpe's offense, because he doesn't give us any right now. Anthony Volpe has not been successful recently. I know he can run into a ball here or there. He did have 2 home runs the other day, but Anthony Volpe his numbers continuously are going down, and now his play on the field is almost unwatchable at this point in time. There's always something else going on that makes you scratch your head and go, is this guy a professional ball player? Can he really play in the bigs? And he's 24 years old. So I'm saying this in all due respect. His career is far from over. But I will say this much. Something needs to change. And even if that just means go down to the minors, get a break, kind of reset everything, kind of figure out what Francisco Alvarez did to go out there. But you got to clean up what's going on here. And it could cost you games. I know in this case, you're lucky it didn't. But 2 unearned runs scored, and the game ended up being tied at 4, where you had the lead. And it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing because you know that they clearly something about Anthony Volpe they like. And we've seen a ton of young players come up over the years and go, you know what, this guy's not that bad. He'll figure it out. But this is the 3rd year. This is a Brett Beatty thing that I say all the time too. Brett Beatty's been in the league for 3 years now, right? At least 3 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. And I go, you know what, Brett Beatty, I know he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. I know he has his moments, but he can't do it consistently. At what point in time are we supposed to say that maybe they're just not as good, or maybe they just need more time in the minors? And right now, I don't know why this isn't loading, but I wanted to give you the last stats since June 15th. His overall stats is just not loading for some reason, but I'll give it to you once it does, because it's going to be depressing, because it's not very good. And at that point in time where Oswald Peraza is batting 150, and everyone's saying, yeah, but you know what? He can't hit. You can't have him up here or not hit. He's batting 150. Once I get these stats for you, if this thing ever freaking loads, you'll see Anthony Volpe has been having a rough go of it. You might as well just send him down. It's not like he's sitting there and batting, 250, and you're like, all right, we'll survive it. No, he is a shell of himself right now. And if I can ever open this up, which I guess for some reason it doesn't, Baseball Reference wants to play games right now. I'm very frustrated, actually, because this is a good point. Unlike some others that people may say, it is a very good point. Anthony Volpe, 212. Let's see. I can't even get this over here. Anyway, moving on. I'll get back to that once this thing opens up. But anyway, but the biggest note of this game on Tuesday night was Ben Rice delivering a huge home run, which is great for the team, which is great for the ballpark. Oh, here we go. Hey, we finally got the numbers there. Okay. We'll get back to Ben Rice in a second. just because I'm sick and tired of people telling me that Oswald Peraza is not a good offensive player right now, and that you can't have him sub in for Anthony Volpe because he's so bad. Okay, fine. Anthony Volpe's last 31 games. So Oswald Peraza is out because he's batting 150. Remember that. 150 Oswald Peraza is batting. He sucks. In the last 31 games, where your boy's been getting a ton of errors, let's start here. 31 games, 110 at-bats. He's got 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. Okay, that's not great, but 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. He's got 2 doubles. He's got a triple. Remember, there was one game where he did hit 2 home runs in the game. So that okay, you got 7 extra base hits. Okay. Now for the real numbers. He's batting 136 in the past 31 games. His OPS is 480 in the past 31 games. He has 31 total bases in the past 31 games. So tell me again that Oswald Peraza is batting 150. Because your boy's sitting there at shortstop, he's batting 136. So tell me again that Anthony Volpe's got to go out there and play every day. Tell me again that the Yankees have no plan but Anthony Volpe at shortstop. The plan is send his ass down, get him figured out, give him a month. Hey, listen, call him up in August, call him up in September. You know what they call that sometimes? It's like a move at the trade deadline that you didn't have to make because you were able to send him down, figure things out, clear his head, and hopefully he comes back. But you can't have him have these mental mistakes left and right because you're killing the kid and you're killing the team. If they didn't come back from this game, if Ben Rice wasn't able to hit a home run in the 9th inning to win this game for the Yankees, this would have been a terrible, dejecting loss. It would have been so painful of a loss for the Yankees. It's one of those that you don't know if you can recover from because not only is it a game where you had in hand and he throws the ball away and 2 runs end up scoring later on, it's the division rivals. It's the Toronto Blue Jays. You're trying to gain ground on them and get the division back. And that could have screwed up everything. Okay? Remember, Anthony Volpe is batting 9th now because his offense is so bad. His defense is worse. So I think it's time that we can all agree that Anthony Volpe batting 136 the last 31 games. Give Oswald Peraza a shot. What the hell? Why not? What could go wrong? Maybe he bats under 100. I'd love to see that. That'd be amazing. That would be impressive to set a new Mendoza line of under 100. I don't know. Just saying. Good win, though, by Ben Rice, New York Yankees. They certainly needed it. I watched a clip that's been circulating of Aaron Boone that's been going around where he joined Talking Baseball with John Boy and Jake. And I'll tell you, man, they got under his skin. And the one thing I will constantly back Aaron Boone about and why he's such a good manager is because the way he handles the media, the way he deflects from anything with his team so that his players basically can walk into that locker room every day and feel like they're in a safe space. And that might sound stupid. That might be like, what are we doing here? This is baseball, safe space. What are we talking about? It's a different game. It's a different freaking ball game. This is not the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s. This isn't steroid era. This is such a different thing with social media platform, with every headline, going crazy. You can't have your team like a guy like Anthony Volpe. I just sit here and just crush Anthony Volpe for 5 minutes. You can't have Anthony Volpe sit down and go, damn, I suck right now. I'm batting 136. And my defense sucks. My offense sucks. This is not good. What am I supposed to do? You can't have them overanalyze it. You do have to find a way to make them go to work and get out of it. That's the goal, right? So that's what Aaron Boone does so well, is prevent the negativity to get to his team, to his players. So we see it in games all the time too. Aaron Judge gets frustrated. All of a sudden, at the plate, Aaron Judge gets frustrated and Boone's running out protecting his boy. Why? Because Judge doesn't need that nonsense. Let him take the bullets. And that's what Boone does best. But he was getting pressed today by John Boy and Jake. And I'll tell you this much. Whether you like the line of questioning from John Boy and Jake, Boone was basically saying, what do you want these players to say? They say one wrong thing and everything gets taken out of context, and that's not good. They don't say anything and everything gets taken out of context. So what do you want them to say? I get it. I respect that. I totally understand it. That's why I try not to overanalyze what these guys say. I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. Go out there and perform. Go out there and play. I'm not sitting here and saying that Anthony Volpe having a conversation with the media tonight will change how I feel. Oh, he said that, maybe he's not seeing the ball well, or he's got some numbness in his fingers. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. Maybe he's got an excuse. I don't care what the excuse is. If something's a problem physically, then go on the IL because something's not right there. If you can't hit the ball, then go take more reps. It's very simple. And so to that, I respect Aaron Boone a ton. Speaking of fingers, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know if they spoke about it yet because the game just ended a little while ago. You saw, I believe everybody saw, the grimace from Aaron Judge after he made a running catch in right field. He didn't have to dive for it. It wasn't anything too crazy. He catches a ball in right field. He turns, throws it in, and after he throws it in, he puts his fist like this, and you could see him wincing. That's not great. Okay, as they say in the trade, that's not what you want. I don't know if there's anything there, but he was definitely giving some faces. I don't know if something happened earlier in the game that I totally just completely missed and got blitzed on and whatnot. Either way, that is something to keep an eye out for. You just never know sometimes how these injuries sneak up on people. So July 22nd, remember, July 22nd in Toronto, Aaron Judge squeezing his hand. In a month or two, you never know what happens. We find out there's a fracture, there's something happening. We go back to this game and go, he was injured then. Something happened today. If it's not today, earlier in the week. And either way, it's lingering on right now, and he's feeling it. That reminds me of Anthony Rizzo when he got the concussion at first base when he ran into I forgot who was at first base when he ran into. Was it Vlad? Was it Tatis Jr.? Whoever it was, he ran into him, and he got the concussion. You could see him all wobbly. And I'm going, guy is spent right now. He got all wobbly legs. He looks like he's, bell rung type of deal. And he played for the next 2 months, and then we find out later on, he had a concussion. I'm like, well, that's not a shocker. I think we all saw it. How the hell did the medical staff not see it? So just remember, hand Aaron Judge, July 22nd in Toronto. We saw that. Let's move to the Mets briefly, as they're going to be another talking point. Francisco Alvarez comes back, 2 games, 2 big hits. This one, a bigger hit than any other one because it was a 2-run bomb that ties the game, makes it 2-2. And let's be honest. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's amazing. I'm not saying that he's completely back, but Francisco Alvarez is back. Let's be honest. He's looking good. He's looking real good. His defense is more crisp, is showing him side by side of what he was doing prior defensively and now what he's doing. His foot's a little bit in a better situation so that he's able to be a little bit more flexible and nimble and not like just so planted on the ground as much. So kudos to Alvarez for working his tail off, which is what David Stearns basically said. He's like, he went out there and did the work. He did it himself. It wasn't something that was like, I don't want to do this. He went out and did the work. Good for him and good for the Mets because this is 2 days in a row where he has had huge hits, and this one basically a game-tying hit. As Frankie Montas, 3 wins so far this season, 3-1. I mean, who would have thought that? Frankie Montas, out of everybody in the entire world, that Frankie Montas would be the guy that's sitting here 3-1. He went 5 2/3, almost got out of the 6th inning. 8 hits, a lot of hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 2 walks. Good outing for Frankie Montas. And, besides those 2 runs, that was it. He was really good. The defense was solid. I mean, Brett Beatty made a hell of a play in the, was it 7th or 8th inning when Reed Garrett, I forgot who hit the ball, but a rocket to third base, and he just made a hell of a play to get out of the inning. And then Ryan Stanek, out of all people, comes in and closes out the game. And you know what? Like, these are the wins you need. These are the battles you need. And it was a tight game. It was a good fought game. Again, the Mets come back from behind. This is the 2nd game in a row they had to do that. It's the Angels here. I'm not sitting here saying that this is the LA Dodgers or the San Diego Padres or the New York Yankees, but still, they came back from behind 2 games in a row. Big hits, big spots, and a nice, huge win for the Mets because they need to win. They need as many wins as possible because right now, when you talk about the Mets and the fact that they are so much in this wild card position, they're still fighting for the division, obviously, but like the NL is very competitive right now, and they can be on the outs very easily. So they need to win as many games as possible. And like I said the other day, on Friday when they came in and they, Sean Manaea pitched 4 innings, and then they go to the bullpen, and Cirillo, whatever his name is, comes in, not here anymore, walks in the door and gives up 5 runs. And we're like, how do you do that after 4 days off? This is what you're doing. This is the strategy. Is Manaea only going to give you 4 innings, and then you go to this guy and he blows up the game? You can't throw away games anymore. So it was a pleasant surprise to see the Mets fight back, win a series. By the way, now they have 2 wins. They've won 2 out of the first 2 games in the first in the 3-game series. So tomorrow, maybe they can get the sweep. Be nice. They got a little winning streak right now, 3 wins in a row. That's a beautiful thing. Now, let me touch on one thing that I said earlier on BT and Sal, and I know people hate me for it, and I love it because to me, debate is huge, and we all have different opinions. Francisco Lindor, I said, will go down as the best shortstop ever. He is a no doubt Hall of Famer, and I stick to it. That is the message that I meant to put out. If I said anything else, if I said right now he's the best shortstop in baseball, Francisco Lindor is going to go down as the best shortstop in baseball. There's no doubt about it. He's going to have the most home runs. If you compare him to Cal Ripken, who right now is the lead or is the all-time home run king for shortstop, Alex Rodriguez is up there too. Francisco Lindor is going to beat that. Okay? And I understand people are like, oh, but how can you say that? Alex Rodriguez blew him out of the water. Yeah, okay, but he moved to third base. Cal Ripken Jr. moved to third base. I know it was 5 years, only 5 years, but still, he moved to third base. Francisco Lindor has another 7 years on his contract. He's going to be sitting there at shortstop. He is going to blow past those numbers. If he's putting up 20, 30 home runs every year, he's blowing past that 353 number that Cal Ripken Jr. has. I think it's 353. Keeps on putting up stolen bases. I know this year's a little bit down year for him, but he's probably going to put up another 100 stolen bases. So you're talking about a guy who's going to probably hit 400 home runs, 300 stolen bases. I don't care about the Gold Gloves, but defensively, if you look at him, he's one of the best defenders out there. Like you talk about Ozzie Smith, how wonderful he was to watch. The reason why we look at Francisco Lindor with a microscope and say, I can't believe he couldn't make this play. I can't believe he couldn't make that play. It's because he's so agile. He's so nimble. He's able to get to these balls that maybe some other shortstops can't get to. So he puts himself in more positions to play these balls. And yeah, sometimes he can't get to them. And then we're like, oh, I can't believe he couldn't get to it. Yeah, well, give another opportunity to a different shortstop. They'd never reach that. They'd just be a simple base hit, but he's trying. He almost got there. So I think a lot of it is based off of the fact that we hyper-analyze Francisco Lindor's skill set at shortstop, but we don't recognize how good he is and how much ground he actually covers. So you put that together. Defensively, he's amazing. His speed is amazing. His arm is amazing. He's got power, okay? I mean, overall, he's going to go down and he's a switch hitter. He's going to go down in the record books as the best. Think about this. And I'm not saying he's the most powerful ever, but he's going to go down with the most home runs as a shortstop. And he's not living in a game. He's not living through the steroid era where everyone just juiced up and everyone was just, popping home runs left and right. No. He's actually going through a dead ball era here and there. So Francisco Lindor is a special player. And don't let people sit there and try to tell you otherwise. I understand that Derek Jeter played a brilliant career, and he shouldn't be getting strays today. I know people give him strays because he's not going to go to the Old Timers Day. That's a whole different story. He can do what he wants to do. I don't really care. But when it comes down to baseball, good baseball player, class act, doesn't deserve strays. But since I'm going to throw him out there anyway, he was a product of his environment. No one can take that away. No one can ignore that. No one should ignore that. 3,000 hits on a team that was one of the best dynasties ever. You're talking about he gets called up. Bernie Williams is there, one unbelievable center fielder, debatable Hall of Famer. Tino Martinez comes in, okay, another stud first baseman. Hello. Tino a Hall of Famer? Is he a Hall of Famer? I forget now. Should be. Is he? Yeah, he is. There he is. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't think he is. But 4-time World Series champion. How about that? He should be. He should be up there. But anyway. Tino Martinez. You got Alex Rodriguez comes in at some point in time with his career. You got Jorge Posada, an unbelievable hitting catcher. You have Paul O'Neill. And then go down the laundry list. Hideki Matsui at one point in time. Go down the laundry list of studs that the Yankees put together. I don't care what year it was, but you, for the longest period of time, especially when George Steinbrenner was there, you would have Derek Jeter surrounded by some of the best ball players ever. Maybe they weren't in their exact prime at that moment, but Gary Sheffield, you're telling me he wasn't a huge threat in that lineup when he was in the Yankee lineup? Was in the Yankee uniform? Come on. Let's not ignore the fact that the Yankees continuously ran out stacked lineup after stacked lineup year after year after year. And if it wasn't like, go through the second baseman. I know Chuck Knobloch, whatever. He had the yips, but good bat. You have Alfonso Soriano. You got Robinson Cano. You had Brian Roberts sucked. But you had a ton of great second basemen. You go through the third baseman, the Scott Brosius of the year of the world that came up. Charlie Hayes, they were okay. Chase had, to be honest with you, actually, let's get rid of third base. They still can't find a third baseman. After Alex Rodriguez, they still can't figure out a third baseman. That's the one position they couldn't find, but everything else was completely stacked. So let's not sit there and say that Derek Jeter was, if he went to Pittsburgh, he's hitting 3,000 hits. No chance. He's not going to have the opportunity. He was in the perfect place at the perfect time, and he was the perfect player for it. It's like Tom Brady. Like, you want to sit there and say Tom Brady's not a Hall of Famer. No, I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you Tom Brady's not a Hall of Famer. I'm not telling you that Derek Jeter's not a Hall of Famer. But Tom Brady was playing for one of the best head coaches of all time in Bill Belichick. You got to at least recognize that there's a little bit of tit for tat there. Maybe Tom Brady went on the field and was able to execute everything that Belichick wanted him to do, but the talent around him was not fantastic. But the play calls, just the plays in general, the game plan was all set by Belichick, and it worked out. And he just happened to have a Tom Brady that was able to execute. Derek Jeter is that Tom Brady. He can execute. He was amazing. I'm not taking it away, but a lot of it is based off of the product of his environment. That's all it is. Francisco Lindor, we're sitting here right now talking about, oh my God, there's hasn't been any offense on the Mets for like 3 or 4 years. They finally get Juan Soto. Pete Alonso, everyone is saying it was overrated. And trust me, when you talk about the rest of the guys like Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil, I totally agree. I think they're all overrated. So really, Francisco Lindor with the Mets, up until this year with Juan Soto, really hasn't played with other elite players, other Hall of Famers, Go down the list of Hall of Famers that Derek Jeter had played with. That's all I'm saying. And if you want to sit there and try to give me any other name, you want to talk about A-Rod. Yeah, A-Rod was great. Again, like I said, his career got split, shortstop, third base. And I'm not even sitting there and throwing out the steroids, which is even the craziest thing, because I could sit there and simply say Alex Rodriguez was on steroids his entire career. His entire career was tainted. But I'm not saying that. I'm not. I'm just simply saying Alex Rodriguez moved positions. Great player, moved positions. Francisco Lindor is going to go down as the best shortstop of all time. So you can complain, you can argue, you can tell me I'm crazy. God bless you. I love you. All right. On that note, guys, listen, enjoy the rest of the evening. Great win by the Mets, Yankees. That was awesome. Much needed. Congratulations to both Ben Rice and Francisco Alvarez for having huge home runs. I would give him an award, or I'd give him something. I don't have anything to give. Tomorrow, Evan and I will be doing a Rico Bronya for the end of the series with the Angels for the Mets. So if you want to listen to that, that's all good. But you can always listen to anything, whether it's Boomer and Gio, whether it's BT and Sal, whether it's Evan and Tiki, Keith McPherson, Chris McMonagle, whatever it is you want to listen to, just go to the Odyssey app, okay? Download it, subscribe. There's the rewind feature, so if you missed anything live that day, but you could always go back and look at the podcast. Unkillable's over there, Rico Brony's over there, WFAN Daily's over there. It's all over there. So enjoy it. Thank you very much for listening. You can always follow me at HoffWFAN, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode of WFAN Daily.